Let's begin. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Thursday. Praise be the spiral. Ooh, trippy. Kind of trippy green screen effects on the screen. Hope you're all doing well. I'm drinking tonight a bottle of this. So I ordered some food the other day, and I needed to make the order up. So I tried to order a bottle of Rioja, and the picture very clearly showed red wine. But they've sent me a white wine. So it's been in the fridge for a couple of days while I've psyched myself up for drinking what is a wine that has no apparent grape. It seems like it's made from complementary white grape varieties. So I assume what they've done is they've taken all the green grapes they had lying around, thrown them in a bucket, and called it Rioja Blanco. Just been looking at some Back for Blood, looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's Left 4 Dead's one of my all-time favorite games. I played a hell of a lot of that multiplayer with friends, and I'll be looking to do the same again at some point. Yeah, Leftover Grapes. Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much for the resub, Mad Beagle. Thank you very much for the hosting there, and thank you for the host as well, Andy Magic Knight. Let's pour a glass while I discuss a little bit about what we're going to do on Saturday and what we're going to do tonight. I hope this is good, or else I'm going to be very disappointed. Just going to take my time with it. Thanks for the host as well, Prize7. Yeah, of course, Sean. So I usually played with well, you'll know Romy and Matt. So I used to play with those two. So you got noisy parrots. What are we on about? Oh, you're confusing me now. I see. You're talking to Dockster. I see. Oh, lovebirds as well. I love those. Love those things. I love those lovebirds. They're awesome. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely look forward to playing those. But I used to play that a lot when I was when I first moved down to Oxford. Actually, I think pretty much. Thanks, Nicomo, for the tier 1 extension. Appreciate it. Thanks, Prince Phase, as well, for the host as well. Okay, cool. The versus mode is all right, but I do prefer I just prefer the co-op mode. You play the co-op mode, you play it on hard, you play it with friends. It's a real good laugh. So. So interestingly, this series, this is a series that Gahim created. He's created two actually, one with 50 and one with 52. So really big series. This one I already had two of the images already, so that's why you're seeing 3 out of 52 there, not 1 out of 52. No, I think that's the problem with a lot of games on Steam, Sean, is that Steam Workshop actually ruins a lot of the original games because it dilutes the developer's intended content down with crap that other people have made, and people tend to start flocking to stuff that isn't the original intent, and it just kind of ruins it, I think, for many games. There's so many games that have been ruined for me by Steam Workshop, so I'm not convinced that that it's a great idea. Yeah, no, exactly. The game has plenty of maps. You don't need more maps, and the extra maps are never as good as the originals anyway. So with few exceptions, there's a couple of minor exceptions where they are decent, but the problem is it dilutes it because everybody starts playing shitty maps and not the original ones, and some people just want to play the original ones. I could play the original Left 4 Dead 1,000 times and still be happy with it. I love it. Anyway, that's slightly off topic. So I got the third one of these yesterday. The Pocket Go. So we'll be doing this giveaway on Saturday. So whatever points you get tonight, which in fact I'm going to give you right now. Let me sort that out quickly. Hang on. It will be the same as the last giveaway. It will cost 3,000 a ticket. You will be able to. There we go. you'll be able to buy 15 tickets, and you'll be in with a chance of winning one of these lovely little machines. Actually, let's see if this one will turn on. Let's see if it's charged. I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't see that very well. So it's just a little Linux machine that has some emulators built into it. So it's got pretty sure it's got PlayStation on here as well. Yeah, PS1. There we go. Oh, it's got. Oh yeah, it's got. No, it hasn't got any PS1 games in. That's good. But you can put stuff. There's loads of room to put things on it as well. So it's a nice little machine, and I'm going to be giving 3 of these away. I'm sure it's got Quake on it. There it is. I'll be giving 3 of these away on Saturday. I don't know if you can see that, but so the original Quake. So unfortunately, the green screen's kind of screwing it up a bit, but you can kind of hear it there. It's pretty good. They're good little machines, nice little machines. I got one last year, I think it was, and it's really nice because it's really small as well. It's very very pocket size. When they say pocket go, they're not lying at all. But I'll be giving away 3 of these. So I've got 3 here now. There we go. So I'll be giving these away on Saturday. As I say, save your points. You'll have. Did I just give you? I think I just gave you 50,000, didn't I? Yeah. So you'll need 45,000 to buy all the tickets. That will give you 15 tickets, and it will just be a normal raffle, like we did with the Pi 400s. And I'll do 3 draws. Whoever wins wins. You can, if you've already won something before, you're still eligible to win. There's nothing stopping you from entering and winning a second or third time or whatever. It's perfectly fine to do. That will be on Saturday, and on Saturday we'll be doing the Mega 65 kart stuff again. So we're going to take a look at the image scaling. Because I think the sprite scaling was wrong. We were seeing more than one sprite. So well, one thing I will say, Skunk Monkeys, if you win in the draw on Saturday, you can't win another one in the draw on Saturday. You can, if you've won previously on other nights, that's fine. But I'm not going to allow somebody to win more than one on the night. So that would be kind of. That would be really unfair, especially if somebody, like you say, somebody's name came up 3 times. That would be, well, there'd be cries of rigged for a start, but more importantly, there'd be it wouldn't be very fair on everyone else. So, okay, I'll tell you what else I got this week as well. I got this thing, but if you can see it, it's a Razer Tartarus gaming keypad. I've had these before, and they're really useful. And because I've been playing a bit of Final Fantasy, I wanted to get a nice one. So I had a look around for the best ones. This one's really interesting. It's got optical switches on it, but they're analog. They're analog optical switches. So it works like a normal digital switch. However, you can also program to respond to different pressure on each key as well. So, for instance, I could have a button which just kind of reloads my gun, but if I hammer it really hard, it may switch to a different gun mode or something. So, it's really good. It's really really interesting. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Thanks for the gift subs, Dockster, to Manitoris 985, Elsa Coda, Kelso Honks, and Kenneth Mirror. Razer, yeah. Well, the thing is with these pads, there aren't that many people who make good quality versions of this, and Razer were the only one that did decent optical switches on it. So there was a Logitech one as well, but it was a membrane hybrid, which I didn't quite like the sound of. So I went for this one just because people slag Razer off, but they're decent. They're a decent company. They make decent quality stuff. You're not going to get something completely shit if you buy it from them. So I got this as a nice thing. It's been brilliant as well. I've really enjoyed using it. So I've yet to kind of to set the analog stuff up on it, but I do like the idea of having keys that do different things depending on how hard you hit them, sort of thing. So I think it detects the distance as well on the key. It's not. I think it's pressure and distance as well. So, thanks, True Tonnies, for the resub. Appreciate it as well. Thank you very much. I was also saying I want to give PS5 controllers away. Yeah, because everybody's got the. If you hit the key hard, it should be. Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah, it's a shame it doesn't have. Yeah, they should make keyboards like that. Actually, that would be good. Unfortunately, there's not enough keys on this. But what it does do is it allows me. So for anybody who's played an MMO, you know the problem when you've got millions of kind of hotbars and buttons to press, and in the middle of that, you've also got your WASD. So you've always got to keep your fingers on WASD in order to move around. But then you've got to kind of arrange the spells and your abilities around those buttons. So in order to kind of to be efficient, you start having to combine it with control and shift and stuff. And obviously anything past like 5 or T on the keyboard is too far to stretch really if you're doing fast kind of paced battles and stuff. So what this does is it gives you a little joystick, a little digital joystick on the thumb. So you can use that instead of WASD, which leaves you with just a full bank of keys, which you can use for your hotbars. And then you can kind of RGB set the keys as well. So I can look at them, I can tell kind of which combos belong to which keys and stuff. So it's kind of nice. Series 48, 49, less smaller on stream, but the sheer number of images in them. Yes, definitely. I'm really, really thankful as well. So thanks to Gahim for the image series as well. Quadrusil also gave some image series as well. So hopefully they will come up tonight. And you've still got a couple of mine as well. So there should be quite a few. You should be quite a few images behind now. I can breathe easy for a little while. All right. Let's start the races and crack on with this tonight then. So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to take a look at the crashing issue in Cecconoid. Now I've had about 2 weeks to think about this, and my thought is the overlay shouldn't crash this week. Yeah, that's at least. I've not looked at what would actually happen if we run out. I should have done that maybe. Yeah. So what we're gonna do is first of all we're gonna try and find a scenario where it crashes consistently, which I think I know of one, and then we're going to automate it. So instead of just me having to do it manually and go through, we're going to pick one simple setup. What the hell was that? Oh, Xbox. Oh, God, Xbox Live is a pain in the ass. There's constant pop-ups all the time. Surely there's a way to turn that off. This wine isn't bad, you know. I mean, it's no red wine Rioja, of course, but it's not bad. What is this? I'm going to skip this one because it is terrible. I'm only skipping it because Nikomo said, "What is this?" So one thing I think that we definitely have a problem with, I showed that. There we go. One thing we definitely have a problem with this game at the moment is switching between screens. Now, I said on the last stream that I thought there was actually 2 issues going on here, maybe even 3. And the reason I think that is because there seem to be two different results that came out of the crash that would happen. One would be that the VIC registers would get bashed. So on this screen, for instance, the VIC registers would get bashed, and we'd end up with in ECM mode, or the screen would be hidden, or some of the sprites would suddenly become double wide. That's kind of thing. That I think is down to the multiplexer, and I think that's a problem because of this screen. And I think it's a problem because of this screen, because this screen takes quite a lot of raster time to do its stuff. There's a lot of particles going on this screen. There's other stuff like door updates, and the laser itself is obviously quite heavy. We've not really done any optimization on any of the code yet, so. But I think what that has the knock-on effect of doing is it gives us a lot less leeway with kind of the multiplexer. So if something goes wrong as we transition between the screens, and the multiplexer can't quite manage to get the values correct, or it overshoots its mark, or it's halfway through the multiplexer or something, that's where we see that issue. Now, my concern is that there is another issue, I think, that is not so apparent, which is if you switch between screens enough, eventually it will just crash and hang. Regardless of whether you've blown anything up or whatever, it will just crash and hang. And I think this is to do with the way that the interrupts work for the music. So what, as I mentioned last time, what happens is, in order to make sure that the music can continue playing, the interrupts are constantly being run, even when the screens are switching. Now, anybody who's used a cartridge on the C64 will know that if you bank in one of the cartridge banks into RAM somewhere, well, into ROM somewhere, as it would be, what will happen is it basically turns on the kernel, which means you've now got to deal with kernel interrupts. If you've got the interrupts enabled, you need to make sure you're dealing with a kernel interrupt routine rather than a non-kernel interrupt routine, because it will go to the register at 0314, 0315, or whatever it is, somewhere down there, and it will try and fire what's in there instead. So in order to keep the music running, what we have to do is we have to have two IRQ systems, one for when the kernel is banked in and one when the kernel is not banked in. Both of them fire the music routine, but only the kernel, only the non-kernel one contains everything else. The reason that's important is because what happens when the map is loading in is it keeps flicking very quickly between banking in and banking out of the ROM. Because what it's doing is it's copying chunks of the ROM into RAM, and some of that lies underneath the ROM that it's banked in. So it needs to turn the ROM on and off in order to be able to copy it to the right location. Now that's absolutely fine. The system works, but it does seem that sometimes that interrupt gets a bit confused, and we end up in a situation where we get a lockup or that we get a CPU jam of some kind. So what I wanted to do is kind of automate this switch between two screens. I want to find a place that crashes kind of often. It's not doing it now, which is really annoying. This is always going to be the case. And basically just get it to very quickly switch between the two screens. Because what I think is happening is the moment that it actually turns off the interrupt and switch to the other one is important. And on this particular screen up here, it's very busy on this screen, so there's not a lot of space for things to happen, which makes things kind of quite timing critical on the screen. And I think if it's done in the wrong place, we get problems. Hey, Dr. Mears, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Someone left a cake out in the rain. Oh man, that's such a shame. Such poor cake. Right. So let's see if we can find a place where it's going to crash. The annoying thing is it's not going to do it now, is it? Let's try blowing these up. Maybe I have to blow these up as well. No, it's not doing it, is it? Oh, that was the shit song. I thought you meant there was oh, there we go. See, we've got a crash. So this is what I want to do. I want to try and replicate this crash by getting it to jump between the screens. Once we've got the automation of that kind of down, so that I can basically run the game and it immediately jumps to that screen and starts flicking between the two, then from that point, what I can do is I can just turn things off until I find what the source of the crash is. I have a funny feeling it's to do with the IRQ. So for instance, what I could do there is instead of flicking between the two, is just disable interrupts. See what happens when I disable interrupts as we flick between. If it stops crashing, we know it's the interrupts. I mean, it's going to be a pain in the ass if it is the interrupts, because it is going to be awkward. I spent a good day. Yeah, I mean, I must have spent a good 6 or 7 hours figuring that out. This was an off-stream thing, when I was trying to get a music player to work on that kind of screen flick without any pause in the music. So if it doesn't work, that's going to be kind of annoying, because it took me long enough to get it to actually function the way it is now. So if it doesn't continue to function, that's going to be quite frustrating. But let's go ahead and try and do that. So we're going to put some temporary stuff in. So I'm going to use to-dos in places. I'm whistling as well. Have I got stuck in my teeth? No. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to use to do so I can find those things to undo them later as well. So first of all, I'm just going to check that I haven't already got a load of to dos all over the place, which I have got a couple. Map loader, investigate the value here. Oh, this is the multiplex. Okay, so okay, that's fine. I'll leave those two in place. Change for less than 512. Oh yeah, I need to do that as well. That should really be and 01, but actually it's not necessary right now. In fact, it doesn't make any difference to the thing at all. So wine stuck in tea. No, I did have some biltong just before I started the stream because I was getting a bit peckish. So I just wondered if I had a bit of that stuck in my teeth or something. Biltong is probably the world's most amazing meat snack. If you haven't had it before, seriously, hunt some down and try it. It's the nicest thing in the world. And whenever I get the chance to get some, I will get some. And unfortunately, there aren't many chances to get it in the UK. The closest you kind of get to it is kind of imported beef jerky normally. And beef jerky is nothing like biltong. It's not. Biltong is sublime. So MDB mentioned in Discord today about using a segment feature in Kick Assembler. Do you? Oh, I saw that actually. I do use it now and again. Usually, if I want to kind of patch things over the top. So you can see here I'm using a segment, but the reason I'm using segment here actually is to make sure that it outputs a cart file. So you can use it to kind of set some kind of properties up for various things. And I think in my cart code I use it as well. I don't know where my cart loader is. There it is. So actually, no, I don't use it in here as well. But there are places where I do use it. I tend to use it if I want to patch code over other code. But what I saw Monsters was doing was really, I mean, I guess one of the main reasons to use segment, and it never really occurred to me before, which is to define your segments at the beginning. So you define your segments like this, and you set your start address. I think you can do it like that or something. And you define where it starts and if it's virtual or not or things like that. And then all you do throughout your code is you just instead of doing start equals and set an address, you just do segment code or segment 0 page, and the assembler will work out what the next address is in that location and switch between virtual mode and not. So really cool way of using it, and it just never occurred to me to use it like that before. So I shall probably be giving that a try at some point. Been wanting to give Savage Jerky a go for ages, but shipping is always a problem. Yeah, you should, if you can get hold of South African biltong, get that, because it just makes beef jerky seem completely inferior. It's an amazing stuff. And you get a really wide range of kind of meats as well, not just beef. I mean, beef is the most common one, but you can get other ones as well. And sometimes you get them with a bit of chili flakes in as well, which is kind of nice. Biltong is delicious. It is the best. In fact, I'd go as far as saying that it's probably, of all the snacking foods out there, it's probably my favorite, because there just isn't anything that satisfies as many things as biltong does. It satisfies the meat craving. It satisfies the kind of finger food snacky cravings that you get with like peanuts and crisps and stuff like that. It's got the nice flavor. It's got the moorishness to it, and it keeps forever as well. That stuff just lasts forever. South African tiger, yeah, tiger in Africa. Yeah, no tigers in Africa. Um, yeah, I'd go as far. I probably would say it's my favorite snack of all time. I think it's just so hard to get over here unless you go to specific places. Oh, look, there is a segment here. Anyway, right, let's crack on with this. So what I want to do is make sure that this is now. Let me load up another column. Yeah, 2 columns. There we go. And let's drop the game loop in here, and the Oh, what would it be? Would it be the boot, isn't it? Yeah. So this one, load title screen, jump title screen, start. And where the hell is title screen? Here, there we go. Right, that's the one I wanted more than anything. Right, title screen start. So you can see we've got jump game loop start, and then this is the main loop. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to go all the way up to the top, and I'm going to just put it here. I'm just going to put to do debug only and do that. And what this is going to do is just make sure that when I start this, the game will automatically load. So I don't have to press that fire button to go in. So this is just kind of speeding things up a bit. Yeah, so as Monsieur says there, that's very true. There are, if you go into some of the train stations in London, they do have South African shops in there where you can buy them. There's a couple of butchers as well, South African butchers dotted around the place where you can get them as well. And it is delicious, and you can get lots and lots of different flavors as well. Okay, so this seems to be getting stuck, which means we probably need to do a little bit more in the title screen rather than just this. So let's just have a look down where the loop is. So this is where the loop goes. This is where the testing is. So I'm just going to put it before the loop. I'm also going to bring it all the way over here. So it's when I go into here, it's really easy to spot. You can do a few things like produce decent. Yeah, so my cart loader uses segments for that exact reason. So I use segments because it allows me to create kind of blocks for the disc and stuff. So that was kind of my main use from. I'd never thought to use them in the way that that Monsters posted today, which I thought was really quite smart. I mean, it's an obvious way to use them, really, and I'm surprised I hadn't already done that. Okay, I don't know why that's not going to the game loop start. Oh, because I need to load. Okay, so we do actually need to load. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to jump to. I think that's the problem. So let's put that back up at the top. By the way, when you put the final game on a real cart, is a ROM chip enough, or does the cart need some extra logic for managing access? I'm not too familiar with the circuits for these, but there's usually some kind of logic chip on there as well, just to handle the banking. I'm not sure what those chips are. It depends on the cart type as well. But yeah, there's usually a logic chip or two on there. I think on the 16 kilobyte cartridge you don't need it. I think you can just wire a 16 kilobyte cartridge straight to the I/O lines on the expansion port. But on something that's got more than 16 kilobytes, you need logic kind of control circuits on there in order to do the banking as well. This is going to be Gmod 2 and Easy Flash. Yeah, it's not running there, so let's move it down a little bit. I'll get this right in a minute. So that is going to require. Oh, actually, I need to do that, don't I, as well? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so this is Gmod 2. As I say, my cart loader code handles most of this automatically, so I don't actually need to do anything. It basically, what this does is, if you look it up here, you just define a few things and then you import the cart loader. So you define what you want to use here, and you can use any of these four formats. So you've got Magic Desk, Gmod 2, Easy Flash, and D64. You basically point to a 10 byte block in zero page, and then give it a few other things as well. So for the disk method, you can point to where you want the Krill installed to. Krill being a disk loading a disk loader system that you can find on CSDB and other more decent kind of repositories of C64 software. And then there's a few things for like where the cart copy code goes and how many files you are. Then basically after that, all your file access is done like this. You just basically You add a file to the file system by giving it a string name, which you use later on to load the file, and then giving it a start and end location for the code. So you can see if I go over to here, title screen here, and actually it's not that one, is it? It's loader. Here we go. You see title screen assets, then underscore title screen assets. So it knows to load these blocks as this file name on the cartridge or on the disk, and you just give them sudo pc location, so it knows where to load the stuff into. Well, actually, you have to tell it where you want to load it, and then you have to put sudo pc in here, so the assembler knows where the program counter is when it's assembling these things. And that's pretty much it. Essentially, to load things, all you need to do is just say load file, and it will call the relevant piece of code, be that cart loader, be that disk loader, and load these things into memory automatically. So this was developed so that I could make something on cartridge, and then very easily kind of create a disk version from it as well. So it's nice and handy. And one of the advantages of using something like Kick Assembler and macros and segments and stuff. It does allow you to do these things quite neatly. So, but yeah. Anyway. Oh, interesting series, Discord. I'm wondering. I think you'll figure out this series very quickly. What I think you might not do is figure out the backgrounds for it. I think you'll figure out the connection very quickly, but I don't think you'll figure out the backgrounds. People sign chairs. Well, you could put Shallan on there, couldn't you? That would be one. All right, so we've got that screen skipping. So now what I want to do is take a look at game loop. And basically I need to set my start screen, which I want to be over here. Now, it's not really important where I am on the screen, I don't think, at least for now anyway. All that matters is that I call the routine that actually does the switch screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to start on this screen, which is screen 11. I believe this is in hexadecimal. I don't actually know. I think it is. So I'm just gonna assume it is, and set. Well, I don't know why I've got so many values on here. That's the original start screen. So let's keep that one on here. Okay, so there we go. So this should start us on the correct screen, and then all we need to do is basically force the routine to kind of switch screens. Now I'm hoping, yeah, that's fine. I mean, it doesn't matter where we are on the screen. So we need to switch down to 21 and then back to 11 again. Okay, cool. Ice cream or beer? What? Anyway, right. I'm gonna pour another wine. That's actually surprised me, and it was a lot nicer than I thought it was going to be. It says medium intensity. I mean, the fact that it's got little charts showing the intensity, complexity, and fruitiness just shows me it's not a great quality one. But the thing is, they do make a really nice red wine, Rioja. So I don't know why. Why their white is so bad. Well, actually, it tastes nice, but the bottle really doesn't inspire confidence at all. Quite weak as well, 12.5%. It's not strong, really. It has a screw cap as well. I used to be quite snobby about screw caps on wine, and I realized after a while that actually some of my favorite wines are screw caps, and it really doesn't matter too much at all. In fact, the one advantage of a screw cap is you won't get corked wine. So, but to be fair, if you do buy a very expensive wine, it will almost always come with a cork. You won't get a cheap. You won't get an expensive wine with a screw cap, but you can get decent wine that is screw cap. So, decent cheaper wine that is screw cap. Actually, yeah, I think their Ryoka is actually corked and not screw cap, which is another interesting thing. Same company, just very different kind of styles of bottling the wine. Okay, so this is our main game loop. So what I want to do is, if we're not already scrolling, so we have this here, but minus normal frame, and then we jump to frame exit. So if we're in the normal frame, then what I'm going to do, the very first thing I'm going to do is whenever the player code is run, which is here, player control, immediately after that, I'm going to call a switch between the screens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the current screen, and I'm going to use that to work out which way we need to switch. So let's grab the player code. Let's take a look at the player code. So in here, there will be like a next screen or something. There we go. I'm going to commit to left, jump next screen, jump right screen. Okay. Dr. Mortal Wombat. I like that name. That's amazing. Mortal Wombat. Brilliant. Welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for the follow. Box wines is another one as well. I've turned my nose up at boxed wines before now, and there is a lot of terrible boxed wines. Generally because they're a way to not only kind of package cheaply, cheap wine, and kind of keep the prices down, but they save money by just the shape of it, right? If you imagine 3 bottles of wine and a box that contains 3 bottles of wine, a box that contains 3 bottles of wine is much easier to stack than bottles. So it's all about money saving, and for that reason, you do end up with some very cheap wines in boxes. However, there is some nice boxed wine. White wine, I think generally is not, but there's a few red wines which are a little bit kind of a little bit all right. They're not terrible. And they're relatively decently priced as well because of the ease of kind of storage and the fact that the container is kind of cheaper to manufacture, I imagine, and yeah, ease of shipping as well. Exactly. Yeah, but I must admit my favorite red wines do have corks in, and they do come in fancy bottles, and usually with some kind of really fancy kind of wrapping around the top as well. So yeah. You can buy milk from the garage in a plastic bag with vitamins and irradiated. My God. Yeah, the food standards in America are very weird. Like the whole chlorinated chicken argument as well, I find very weird, and the fact that they can um like if we find chicken on a production line here that's that got tumors in it or something like that, that entire chicken is thrown away, right? We don't use that chicken at all. In America, all they do is the bit that's got the tumor in doesn't get used. Everything else is fine to use. So they've got some very strange ways of dealing with it, and they prolong the shelf life of it as well by chlorine washing it as well, which is another strange kind of thing. But yeah, but we have our own weird things as well. Every country has their own weird things. So okay, right. So this is what we want to do. We basically want to call this with up or down. So I don't know where it's getting the up and down. Oh, right, that's coming from. Well, I'm assuming it's constants in here, but it doesn't look like it is. I'm assuming those constants are just up, down, left, right, 1, 2, 4, 8. I'm not seeing them anywhere in there though, but I assume that's what they are, because they're also being used to test the joystick as well. So yeah, I'm going to go with that. Actually, no, they're not being used to test the joystick. They're being anded like that. See if I can find that. I reckon it is going to be 1, 2, 4, and 8. It's just going to be in some constants file somewhere. Where though? I don't know. Oh no, it isn't. Look, there you go. Of course, it's completely different. All right. So up, down, left, right is looks like it's 0, 1, 2, and 3. Oh, these are offsets into okay. Up, down, left, right, 0, 1, 2, 3. All right, fine. But we can use they're in the variables file, and they're constant, so we can just use them like this. So what we want is the up and down like this, and what we need to do is figure out what screen we're on and jump between the two. So what will happen is it will come into here, the player control will be activated. As soon as the player control is activated, the very first thing it's going to do is try and switch screens. As soon as the screen starts trying to switch, it's going to deactivate this chunk of code and it's going to switch this scrolling code. So the scrolling code will continue until the screen is changed. Then when the screen is changed, it will immediately jump back to the normal frame, which will in turn start the hey, I like this series. I think this is Steps' series. Anyway, very, very good series. Steps, you should have extended this as well. To I mean, God knows how many books there are, but there's a lot. Right. Okay. So let's stick that in then. So here's our player control. So this is what we want to do, but this could be up, it could be down. So what we need to do is we need to figure out what screen we're on. So the way we do that is in, I believe, Map Loader. It's going to be, but that is Maps. There is current screen. There we go. So maploader.current screen is going to give us the value that we're on. So maploader.current screen. Now this is either going to be 11 or it's going to be 21. If the screen is 11, then we need to load this with down. And if the screen is, down like that. And if the screen is 21, then we need to load it with up. So we can do that comparison here. So we'll check first if it's on 11. So we'll do it in hexadecimal. And if it's not equal to 11, we'll jump ahead to here. Otherwise, we're going to do that. And we're going to... Actually, this is not going to be a jump. This is going to be a jump to subroutine because it's a jump in the other function because we're using tail calls to basically jump out of that thing. Put skip here. Hopefully there's not another skip in here. I don't think so. No, okay. And I'm going to do another comparison here. And the only reason I'm doing another comparison here is just in case something goes wrong and it's not in the correct place. So this is comparing it. The screen is on 20. Why's that gone there? No. Yeah, okay. So this is comparing if the screen is on 21. If it's not on 21, then it skips over and just continues. If the screen is on one of these, then it will try and move to the other screen. So hopefully we should see now when I start this, the game will start up. So we'll get a quick flash of the title screen, which you saw there. Then it will go black. Then it will load into the game. And then it should automatically start switching between the two screens. Perfect. So now we're just waiting to see if it crashes. The laser's not drawing. Nothing's drawing here. This is too quick for any of the other stuff to trigger. So this is going to be good to see if there's an issue with that. Let me accelerate that a little bit as well. Okay, now that's good. That means there probably isn't an issue with the IRQ as it stands. That it's probably something just to do with the multiplexer, which is a good sign. Night Watch, the Night Watch. You don't have to put the word "the" on the beginning. Also, Night Watch is an amazing book as well. Night Watch was the book that was basically Les Miserables, wasn't it, with the guards, if I remember rightly, and a bit of time travel as well, if I remember rightly. Yeah, so that's not working. That's not causing a crash, so that's good. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to delay it a frame as well. So now what we're going to do instead here is we're just going to do. Actually, we'll delay it a little bit. We can load frame timer, and we'll compare this to 0. Well, actually, we'll just do branch if not equal skip. So if the frame timer hits 0, then it will do one of these. That means we're going to at least wait between it's going to be kind of random depending on not quite random but sort of random depending on when the screen relinquishes control back to the program. um, and so this could be anything between 0 and 5 seconds before it starts. So now we're going to see a little bit more variation, and we should see lasers appear and stuff. So just leave that going. It might be too slow actually, but all right. See, now we've got those exploding as well. So, and there we go. So it's a problem straight away if something has exploded. So let's just try and reduce this down a little bit. So let's sound this with 0F. So let's make it a bit quicker. Or let's do 1F. So it's a little. Let's see what's going on. Can I switch screens to allow them? Yeah. So anytime that the screen's not moving, the player has control. So I can technically move, although it's not letting me for some reason. Oh, because I'm using my joystick and not my arrow keys. There you go. So you can see, and you see if those things don't explode, we're not getting a crash. So it's definitely to do with the crash. Definitely to do with the explosion. And imagine, no, it's still blowing the particles. Yes, I think it's either the particles or the sprite multiplexer. It's one of those two things. But you can see we're not seeing an issue with this now. So let's change that a little bit more to give the particles time to explode and see what we get. But now you see it's a little bit quicker to do this. So it's getting a bit easier to manage this. I think it's the particle pointer. It certainly could be, yeah. See, the particles have stopped moving. It seems to be fine. So let's keep trying. Yeah, no, you've been. The thing is there's been a lot of theories about this, and the problem is proving it and making any of it repeatable. It's an absolute pain in the ass to repeat. I completely agree with you. I think it is either going to be the sprites or the particles. It has to be. That's the only thing that is definitely happening while we're on both of these screens. But yeah, I mean the problem. Yeah, see, there we go. The problem is not knowing what it is. We've known for a while where the problem lies. Um, but the problem is being able to reproduce it and prove it. So uh, okay, so we definitely saw problems. Particles still on. Okay, there was a bit of a flash of the laser over there, but oh, see, there we go. That's wrong. It shouldn't have done that. Interesting. Wow. Okay. I'm getting some really weird things. Okay, so now we know that, let's try some things. Okay, we can get it to crash consistently now, or consistently enough anyway. Well, let me just do it one more time just to make sure. I definitely would lean more towards the particles because the thing with the explosions is they're no longer active on the screen when the crash is happening, whereas the particles can be. Wait, where is the? Oh, it scrolls to somewhere weird. I remember now. Yeah, there we go. All right. So let's turn the particles off. That was the first thing to do. See if we can. So now we've got it replicating kind of consistently. Let's just turn all particle functionality off. So what we'll do for that is we'll actually turn the updates and the drawing of those. I think it's probably just going to be a single call actually. Oh no, we've got player exhaust. Oh yeah, there you go. Pay it. Particles update, particles draw. So let's just get rid of those and try that. I'm thinking if there is a certain number of particles, the point isn't me certain. So, well, the thing with the particles is if they were the main problem, and well, if the overflow was the problem, we should have seen it in the character set in the debugger. So I'm not entirely sure that is the case. However, I'm not ruling it out because there could be some weird kind of masking of the values, which means it skips a certain portion of the memory and jumps straight over. It could be that the way it resets the pointer is incorrect for whatever reason. I mean, it seems to be that's the case because it's not crashing now. I'm going to run this a few times by setting these bombs off each time. But it seems to be not the case at all now, so... Yeah, I definitely it's going to be something like that. The particles is a pretty complex system, so it wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. I'm really happy it's not the IRQ. That was my big worry that it was going to be the IRQ because I would have had no idea where to even begin um, coding a new IRQ system. It would have just been nightmarish. But yeah, I mean, look at this. It seems to be running fine now. And that would have had particles all over it. So I noticed that the screen shake has kind of pulled a bit of the text off at the top, so I need to fix that as well. But I can say with 100% certainty it's not a B. What's BGP? The hell is that? Why have I got two apps using my microphone? What else is using my microphone? Oh, internet routing. No, that was definitely what was going on with my internet today. There's something really weird with it. So I had the little icon in the bottom corner that says you're not connected to the internet, and I certainly couldn't see any web pages. So I couldn't load, Google up or anything like that. But I was still connected to some chat programs. So I was still connected to Teams, but I wasn't connected to Discord. Discord went off, and I had some socket connections open with some servers, and they stayed open as well. But I couldn't ping. No, sorry, I could ping. I could ping the servers that I was connected to, but I couldn't. I couldn't connect to some of our internal VPN stuff as well. So it was very. Yeah, I thought it was DNS. That was my initial thought with it, that maybe there's a DNS problem. But there were certain things I couldn't ping either. So I couldn't ping. What was it? I was testing some addresses that I couldn't ping. So I think it was a combination of DNS and. But I think probably what happened is some of their servers, some of their kind of. I mean, I don't know what you'd call it. Some of their infrastructure, kind of server data center stuff, fucked up. And that meant large portions of DNS were broken. Well, I think all of DNS was broken, and large portions of the routing was broken as well. So you couldn't get to certain things, and the stuff you could get to, you couldn't get to by domain name. You had to use IP numbers and stuff. So it was very, very weird. And the thing is, it's been on and off for a couple of days now. And it seems to be most of London that's suffering this as well. So there's obviously an ongoing problem that they need to resolve. I'm just glad it's working tonight. Although I think I would have been all right streaming, thinking about it. Anyway, So this doesn't seem to be a problem with particles turn off. So that brings us down to it's probably particles. So in that case, let's dig into well, let's just do update particles. Let's not draw the particles. Let's just update the particles and see if it's, because if we can kind of pinpoint where this is happening, in which side of this, it's going to narrow the code that we need to look at. So will it crash if you turn particles back on, but place the ship at a position not triggering explosions? No, it seems to be related to excessive particles. The thing with all the other particles, actually no, the laser particles should loop as well. The exhaust ones don't, though. Also, it seems to be. I think it's to do with the drawing of them. Looking at this, let's try the other way. Let's just turn the drawing on and not the update. So the particles is because they're going to be static, but yeah. So we're getting static particles now. But what we should get. So they're not dying now. So if there is going to be a crash, it would. Just makes you think it's the update, right? So let's turn it all back on again. Let's start it again. Just close some of these ones down. Okay, so there's two types of particles going on here. There's the exhaust particles and everything else. The exhaust particles always use the same indices in the particle engine. So these particles you see, I don't know why they're not showing up there, but oh, I've just realized what's going on when I switch onto this screen. It's because of my position on the screen. It thinks I'm okay. Well, that is weird. But again, you can see I turn these both on and it's a problem. So let's go and have a look at let's go and have a look in the particles thing. Yeah, he's Vimes, Sergeant Vimes, yeah. Where are the particle location? So I'm gonna have a look now. Okay, so they're stored in zero, but so this is one thing we did look in zero page where this was going on. And I never saw any problem anywhere in zero page with this. So basically, there's a location in zero page which is responsible for storing the screen addresses of the particles, but not necessarily the right address for the particle data, which is closer to the to the problem, to the IO registers that are getting bashed. So let's go and have a look at that area. So let's just have a look what's happening, because it seems to be in the update particles, right? So let's go and have a look at the update particles. Okay, so the first thing that this is doing, this is oh wait, what's going on here? Oh, Emacs particles. Wait. Oh, and it's dividing it by 4. Okay, that's fine. So this is particle count is what's been used to work out if it's drawn enough particles on this particular frame. And so it's the maximum number of particles it can draw per frame is a quarter of the maximum amount of particles. So okay, that's fine. The other thing that is happening, which we probably should take into account here as well, because this was the other thing I was considering. We have this performance thing here where we change the number of particles on each screen. It could be that the number of particles changes at some points where it then causes a discrepancy in a loop somewhere, and now it's it's kind of that it's trying to clear particles that were never initialized because it's moved up from 24 to 64 or whatever. So I'm going to turn off the performance checks and try again, because if this fails to crash, then we know it's to do with the dynamic nature of the particle count, which could very likely be a cause of the crash. So uh, in Germany, it's called mum. That's actually a pretty good name for him. Actually, that would. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what you would. I don't know what that translates to in German, but yeah. See, weirdly, I don't think this is an issue now. Oh man, this is going to be annoying if this is. Oop. It goes too far because it thinks I'm at the screen edge, so it tries to move me like I'm at the screen edge, and it's because normally when you scroll between screens, it's moving the ship across the screen. But because we're just moving in the Y direction, it's just wrapping around and appearing somewhere else. So it just happens to be up at the top up here. So I just need to kind of avoid going right up to the top. I can see myself there. But it doesn't seem to crash. So let me try that again. So this is kind of, it's half what Andy's saying, but I think what's probably rather than it setting a pointer that's in the wrong location, it's more that what it's doing is it's setting an uninitialized. It's trying to use an uninitialized pointer. If you have mum, it means you are strong without a fear. Okay, Fimes doesn't really have a meaning, but it does sound like a kind of military name, I guess. In English, it sounds like a kind of English military name, I would say. Um, right, so we're gonna just hang here for a second and let those explode. Yeah, this isn't an issue. So let's take a look at what happens between the screens then. So if I set this, well, let me just to confirm, let's see how quickly I can get it to crash with that set performance thing on. See, the thing is, it's still not crashing every time, which is really frustrating. It makes it hard to test this properly. Still not crashing, is it? God damn it. Oh, that was interesting. They didn't even trigger that time. Oh, okay. Well, that's about. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I am going to get. Right, we need to make this more consistent with crashing. I don't think this is good enough to really test things. We need more consistent crashing. So because we think it's the particles, what I'm going to do is on the screen where we're normally expecting the particles to kind of spawn all over the show, this one here, I'm actually going to call a routine, a small routine here, which is just going to add some particles to the screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the code from what would be a good thing to use here? I guess one of the destroyables or explosion. No, not the explosion, because that's not particles, is it? That's actually That's actually just sprites. I think it's the destroyables we need to use here, which means it's in this lot. Yeah, here we go. So this is actually gets the next particle and then creates a particle on the screen. It's a little bit kind of crazy, all of this, but it might be enough. Let's just try it and see what happens. I might have to change some of the values in here, and I'm just going to shift it over to the side and put to do on it. Let's have a look. Okay, so we set in 2 particles by the looks of things here, not just one. That can't be right, surely. Hang on. Oh, no, LSB and MSB. Okay. So this is actually grabbing a position on the screen, storing it here, and then storing an X and a Y on here as well. Okay, I'm just going to store it like that and see what happens. This should return in Y the next particle. So let's have a look what happens. Let's get rid of that. Don't need that. Hoping what's going to happen is we're just going to see particles appear all over, like in, well, they're probably just in one place. I'm hoping that they do. They might not do. It might crash because of, I think it already has crashed. It might crash because some of these values aren't set properly at this point. So, for instance, this destroy X, destroy Y screen point is not actually set anywhere at this point. Okay, in that case, what I shall do is I will try and grab some other values. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and have a look at the exhaust stuff in player and grab that instead. Because I think this is going to be the most efficient way to do this, is just to spawn tons of particles on the screen. Then we don't have to make things explode. So if we can do that, then that's going to hopefully make things a little bit easier to replicate. If we don't have to keep reloading it because we've run out of things that we've exploded. Where's the exhaust? Here it is. Okay, so we have collision lookup. So this is good enough for our particle MSB, and we've got collision chart. Okay, great. So we've got things that we can use. So we're going to use collision lookup. Hopefully that's actually in. Yeah, it looks like it's in the constant somewhere, in the variables somewhere. So that's going to be. Oh, it does have 2 particles in here. It is putting 2 particles. Okay, let's just put 1 on. We don't want 2. So let's just do 1 particle. That's why there's a double increase Y at the end. And we want this to be collision chart X. We don't care about that one. We want this to be collision chart Y. We don't care about that one. This is our delta X, delta Y. Okay, well, that's just being loaded from. I don't know what that's been loaded from, but yeah, where is it getting that from? Okay, well, we don't care about that one. Nor do we care about that one. Wait, hang on. Define Y. Yeah, don't care about that. No, hang on. There we go. Just put that in there like so. Just keep it on 2 on both. That should be fine. Delta X, delta Y. Okay, so these are values which at the moment are just coming from particle delta X, whatever that is. I'm guessing that's just the direction that the yeah, it's just the direction. All right, we'll grab that as well. And that's been stored in delta X, and delta Y has been set to 0. Okay, so let's store that there and get rid of this. Just 1 increase. Right, there we go. And I don't know why that's there. That's there. All right. Okay, so hopefully this should give us something. We shall see. Okay, something failed. What did it fail? Particle. Why? Oh, I just did this in completely the wrong place. Should have been doing it in here. God damn it. All right. Fine. I should have noticed as well because that was completely different indentation. This is the indentation I wanted. Don't need that. I just need the MS. Oh, collision look up +1. Yeah, it's the MSB. All right, cool. So I need that. Destroy X, destroy Y. Collision char X, collision char Y. We'll keep that the same for fine X and fine Y. Get rid of these ones. Delta. I'll keep that the same on here, and 0 for this one here. I'm looking forward to giving away the retro. I mean, these are a little bit cheaper. These are only like 30, 40. I think they're about $40. So they're a bit of a cheaper price than the Mega 65 stuff, but still very cool little device. As I say, I have one myself, and when I was going into work, it was a handy little thing to just have in my pocket from the on the tube. Small enough that you're not having to mess around, kind of store it in a bag or anything. You just slip it in your pocket. It's nice and small. Battery lasts a decent time, and you can play some stuff. So, good point, actually, Nicomo. That's very, very good point. So yeah, the rules for the challenge are up now on the Discord for August challenge. It's going to run until the 3rd of September, I think. Hang on, let me check the dates. Yeah, 3rd of September. The stream will be on the 4th of September. So that gives you about 4 weeks to do something. It's very much like the Millfork challenge. It's to use TRSE, so Turbo Rascal, to create a cassette 65 ish, a cassette 64, sorry, cassette 50 style game. You can copy something directly from. I need to find out where that is. Oh, it's there. All right, let me just copy that from in here. You can use something directly, kind of influenced by the cassette 50 games themselves, or you can come up with another idea which is kind of would fit into a cassette 50 style game. Just like the Millfoot one, there is one requirement other than the language requirement, which is it should have something. It should use a feature of the Mega 65 which the C64 doesn't have. So just like the Millfort challenge, I think most people went for 80 column. That was the easy one, or high color kind of sprites or backgrounds. So either or, and it doesn't really matter. You can use them both if you want. You can use all the features if you want. It's entirely up to you. You've got 4 weeks to do it, and it will be just like the Millfork and all the other game challenges, in that we will take the entries. Everybody who enters a valid game will get entered into the raffle, and then we'll draw a name on the night, and whoever wins wins a board. That's a good point, Nicomo. Have you got your board yet? I've not actually checked the Royal Mail stuff yet. Let me just check. Hang on. Uh, Give it a second to load up. Okay. Apparently. Oh, you've received it. Oh yeah. I think yeah. Okay. Never mind. My memory is terrible. Sorry. My memory is absolutely awful. Cool. Awesome. I think it's because I fill my head with so much programming stuff. I don't have room for anything else. No, it definitely takes a while for most European. I mean, Norway was ridiculous, but yeah, I think it takes a while for most European countries, rather frustratingly. Um, it's just the whole Brexit thing has kind of ruined things because what was a nice, easy flow in and out of the country for things like post has now become this kind of just mess, basically. Okay, so you can see there it's streaming particles. That's good. Boom, there we go. So we've got a crash now. So okay, let's see if we can replicate this consistently now. So well, Brexit has changed the yeah, Brexit. Oh right, it does you weren't questioning whether it did. You were well. Oh god, what's he doing now? Okay, let's just stay there. So I'm not doing anything except spewing out particles now. Boom. Yeah, there we go. So it is particles for sure. Um, and we can see the problems that it causes here. So now let's try and figure out if it's to do with the. So we know for certain now it's particles. We definitely know that. Now what we need to do is just sort the position out for the player so that we can avoid blowing things up on that screen. So let's try. Well, in fact, what I'm going to try now is I'm going to try going the other way, left and right instead. So, because if I'm still spewing particles on the other screen, it should crash when we come back without exploding things. So let's give that a try. Let's go to, where's our game loop gone? Oh, it's here. I'm right on it all the time. So instead of doing this now, we're going to do it like this instead. So we're going to go, if we're on 11, we're going to go right. And if we're on 12, we're going to go left. That should avoid us exploding anything, but should still spew particles on the second screen. Oh no, it won't spew particles on the second screen because we don't have it here. Thank you very much, Gascon, for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. So now we're going to grab all this code from screen 21 and we're going to go and drop it in screen 12 instead. So it's the same thing. We're going to do the swarm update and then we're going to call this. Yeah. Oh, steps. Oh, wait. Why is it going all the way across like that? That's weird. Yeah, you're not supposed to guess your own. But yeah, whatever. Oh, why does it keep going like that? That's really weird. Oh, I guess because of the position. Okay, right. So I need to set my. No, no, that's not right. Let me just try set my player position to something slightly different. Where's my initial position? Spawn X, spawn Y, no. Oh, it's this one, isn't it? Yeah, okay. All right, let's set this to set to FF. In fact, let me duplicate that line and set it to FF. Let's see what happens. This is only going to work if it goes backwards and forwards. Otherwise, I'm just going to switch back to the other two screens. No, see, it's not putting me in the right place, I don't think. No, it keeps going that way. That's annoying. So what is it doing here, right? It's coming in. It's saying, okay, I'm on this screen, so I need to load the next screen to the right. So it goes over to the right, which is screen 12. Then it says, if I'm on screen 12, then I need to load the next screen to the left. So I don't know why that's failing. All right, let's just go back to the original. Oh, damn it. All right. I don't know why that's causing an issue now, but it is for some reason. Okay, so we go up and down. And we'll just set the player in a position where it won't trigger anything and bombs and stuff. So see where it's at now, and then move things around a little bit. Okay, so see what we trigger if we're in this position. Okay, so we do trigger some things. So let's say if we were here, where would we be? No, see, we've moved down now. And there we go up. Okay. Oh man, this is so frustrating. I'm just trying to find a good position for this now. Let's try some values out until we get it. Okay, well, I mean, it blows that one up, but I mean, that's fine. We can deal with that. That's I kind of wanted to avoid blowing things up for it, but it's I can maybe turn off the bomb detection stuff instead. But for now, I just want to mess around and see if we can figure out what's causing this. I'm so glad it's not the IR key stuff. I really am. Isn't it the explosions from the particles that's the issue? No, at least I don't think so, because you can see here we're spewing particles, but boom, you go. It seems to just be the fact that there are more particles on the screen. So you see how it crashes now. It's not necessarily to do with the I mean, this is why I wanted to turn the particles off anyway, just to kind of confirm what I'm fairly certain is true. Which is it's this performance issue. So what the performance does is it sets the maximum that the particles can get to before resetting back to zero again. But I think what's happening is when the particle when that thing is being set between screens, when there's lots of particles on the screen, it doesn't quite know how to clear things up properly or something. So let's just see what happens now. So see if we still see the same crash. See, interestingly, there is no crash yet. So yeah, so I'm pretty certain it's that. Yeah, first is Guards. Brilliant book. Guards was the book that got me into Terry Pratchett. Actually, no, that's a lie. The Guards is the book that got me into adult Terry Pratchett, or young adult Terry Pratchett, I guess you would call it. The books that actually made me realize Terry Pratchett was a good author, I read when I was a much younger, which was Diggers, Truckers, and Wings, which were kind of kids books, really. Um, but Guards was the one that I read, the first one of the kind of Discworld series that I read, and I was completely hooked after that. It's the perfect introduction to it. And in fact, since then I've looked at kind of recommended reading guides for Terry Pratchett, and Guards is almost always first in there because it introduces you to the disc world in a very kind of logical way. It starts you with the city and the people of the city. You start to learn kind of the ridiculousness of it all and stuff, and it really kind of introduces the city in a good way. So you can see here, and it's not crashing now, and that's because we've turned that performance stuff off. So um, yeah, he's up there for me. I think Douglas Adams for me is my favorite. Again, another great author taken from us before his time. Weirdly, Mort was a book I tried. So I'd read Diggers, Truckers, and Wings when I was mid-teens, like 13, 14 or something like that, which isn't really mid-teens, early teens. Which ones are the best books? I like that you said that in. See, I read that in Death's voice in my head. So, um, but what I tried to do after that, I tried to read from the very beginning. I forget the name of the book now. It's one of the wizard books anyway. Oh, Color of Magic. There you go. Steps said it. And I couldn't get on with it at all. It didn't grab me the same way. So I kind of dismissed Pratchett as something I wouldn't get into. And then a few years later, I tried to read more as well, and that grabbed me a little bit more because I found Death kind of amusing. I found it I found it a kind of interesting concept, but again, it didn't really quite grab me, and I think it was because it didn't really show me. Neither of the books really showed you Discworld straight away. Though those books take a while to get going, and and more especially doesn't really show you much about Discworld. Um, but Guards just throws you right in. The very first thing that's happening in Guards is you're in the city, and um, you kind of get an idea of what's going on, and why. So, and then after that, it was just like the books just grabbed me. Then uh, moving pictures is good. Yeah, my one of my favorite books actually was, is it Gods? I think it's one of the ones that's kind of a little bit. It's kind of like a spin-off, if you like, of Discworld. Uh, is it Small Gods? I can't remember what it's called. And there's Pyramids as well, which is pretty good. Small Gods, yeah. I also liked Jingo as well. Jingo is one of my favorite, probably my favorite Guards book. Uh, Also, the is it Monstrous Regiment? I think it was called. Hang on, Monstrous Regiment. Yeah, Monstrous Regiment. Very, very good book. Oh man, I'm so gutted he's not around anymore. I'd love to see more of his stuff. I keep meaning to give the Watcher a look, because I know his daughter was involved in kind of helping produce that, but I just suspect it's not going to be anything like I want it to be, and it's just going to destroy that. It's the same reason I won't watch Lord of the Rings. It's going to destroy that kind of image that I have in my head that my imagination has created, and I don't want to ruin that. It's to me, it's a part of my childhood, and well, not even my childhood, because it was kind of, I was quite old when I started reading Pratchett, really. But it's a part of my imagination that I want to leave it as it is, and I don't want it spoilt by some mediocre TV show. Um, I have watched some of the. I think I watched The Hogfather and I watched Going Postal, and I thought they were pretty decent. Um, but I wouldn't want to watch The Watch. I think that, to me, the fact that it's a TV show, that they're trying to make it episodic, just doesn't feel right to me. I don't watch it. Okay, so this seems to be fine. We're not having any issues here. So we know for certain now that it is to do with the particles, which I'm going to give Andy 25 points for, because it is a big thing, and it has been saying it for a while. So let's give him his 25 points. I would have given him the full 100, except that the issue is not exactly what he said it was. The issue is to do with these, but I think 25 is definitely a valid amount here, because it is something that's been going on for a few streams now. Yeah. Anyway, right. Let's take a look. So what we have is we have this little function here, this set performance. Now, what this is doing is this is changing the number of sprites, and it's changing the number of particles. So now we know it's to do with this thing. Unfortunately, it's not as simple as just the code that's in here being the problem. But what I do want to do is make sure that it is definitely the particles side of it. Can you give Andy 25? Yeah. Uh, but it's still a point to not resetting properly in the performance of. It probably is, but I don't think it's exactly. It's happening because the maximum number of particles is changing, and it's probably in the middle of a loop or something like that it's doing it, or the something weird is going on that's causing it to reset incorrectly. So it did look like there was an offset there in the drawing code. Well, we'll take a look in a minute. But first of all, what I want to do, I just want to check this screen macro. All I want to do here is just turn off the sprite side of things. So we just, because the screen that it's crashing on also has the lasers as well. So I just want to turn off the sprite side of things here. Which in fact I can do just by putting null here apparently. So that's good. I don't have to change anything over here. This is just to 100% say it's to do with the sprites. I'm 99.9% certain it is to do with the sprites now, but I just need this last kind of bit of confirmation just to say that it is. So by turning the sprite performance enhancements off, we should see the problem. So yeah, and there you go. Straight away we get the issue again. Okay, so we know for certain now it's definitely the particles, as I suspected. It's not to do with the sprites. So that means now we need to figure out what part of the particles is causing the issue. So this is the new limit. So if this limit changes, what in the particle system changes? So let's go back to the game loop and let's change the particle update again. Let's just do the draw particles and not the update and see what happens. And then we'll do the update, not the draw, and see what happens. And we'll just work our way through pieces of code, kind of blanking them out and stuff until we figure it out. So okay, so you can see that it's because we're not updating the particles; they're just kind of staying static. But interestingly, you can also see that this is not crashing. So just drawing the particles in this location is not a problem. Now, what will happen with the particles when they draw is if it reaches a limit, it should, and I should be able to see this as I move. You can see there it's still drawing new particles as we move around. So just getting to this position here. Oh, where was I? No, up here, wasn't it? Yeah. So you can see it's drawing new particles as I move. So what's happening is it's spawning a new particle, and if it gets to the end of the list, it's just starting again at the beginning again, removing the old particle in its place. So it's not actually to do with the draw particle, interestingly, which is where I would have thought it would have been the problem. Which also means it's not to do with the add particle. So the add particle is the one that decides, have we reached the end of the list, in which case we need to reset and go back around again. Let me show you that code. Where is it? Where's it gone? There it is. So we have somewhere we have an add particle. Oh, sure. Oh no, we have get next particle, and then we set the properties of it. So this get next particle is what is working out what is our next particle, compares it to our current maximum. This Vmax is the variable max basically. So the variable max particles -2. I don't know why it's -2, but I there is a reason for that. I know, which I'm going to leave it in. Can't remember exactly why. And if so, it resets it back to not 0, but the above the laser particles and the exhaust particles. This is why the laser particles didn't have any effect, because wait, why is maximum laser particles included in this? That's weird. Hey, what? Why is laser particles being included? Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why that is being included there. That's very odd indeed. I'm not going to mess with it though. For now, I would have thought the laser particles would have been their own thing, but apparently they're not, which is very odd. I mean, just if yeah, I mean, I'm gonna actually duplicate this line, comment this one out, and I'm just gonna remove it because I don't think that should be the case there at all. Actually, no, I'm gonna put it back, but I'm gonna leave that one underneath because I need to investigate that and put a to do on that. It's one thing at a time, right? Let's not complicate things. So it's not this routine, it's this routine here. So this routine is what is actually adjusting the particles and updating them. So my suspicion is that it's something to do with either the screen fetch, although it shouldn't be the screen fetch because that's only loading a value in there. Something is storing something somewhere incorrectly. So we have the particle values in here. Could it be the X maybe? Values changing here. Let's have a look for all the stores in this location. So what do we store? Okay, so we store in these particle locations, comma X, particles MSB. So this is just our particle list down here. And that particle list is at the end of this class. So if it overflows from this, it could fill in somewhere else. However, I find it unlikely that this would overflow into anything that would cause the I/O area to always fail like that. It's more likely that it's drawing in the incorrect place. But the thing is, the draw function seems to be fine. So what is the update changing that could affect the draw? So let's have a look at that. Okay. So we've got screen fetch, and that's stored in particles LSB. Okay, so we do actually update some values in here. So what are we updating? We're updating particles MSB, particles LSB. Okay, so we do update the particle MSB and LSB. So let's have a look in here. And we do use screen fetch in here. Compare it to particles. Where were you? Do you know the line number? This one here. Not seeing it at all. There's this one in kill particles, but this has to be max particles. This is making sure that all the particles are cleared, regardless of what the count is. This is in draw particles. I'm not seeing it at all. Every compare X in here is particle fetch. That's fine. Max exhaust particles. This looks fine. Yeah, this is fine. I'm not. It's not fine. You've noticed exhaust is spelled incorrectly in a few places. That's very likely. Quite often when I'm typing, I tend to type like pairs of letters the wrong way around. Yeah, like that basically. So that's probably it's probably how it is in the constants file actually. I need to check that now. Exhaust gravity. What was it? Exhaust particle count, wasn't it? Thank you very much, Talcomex, for the Talcomex. I like that. For the follow, and Obendon for the follow as well. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Where's the maximum exhaust particles? Yeah, it's misspelled here, so I'm not going to change it now. But yeah, but well spotted. But it is consistently so for this, but not for this, which is a bit annoying. But is it a random? Okay, so the particles, the way the particles are drawn is kind of a little bit tricky. So what happens is there is there's an index which is stored between frames, And basically there is a maximum number of particles it will draw per frame. There's also a maximum number of characters that can be used to draw the particles per frame. So yeah, I could say I can't be bothered though. It's fine. So what happens is when this routine happens, is it the update? Yeah, I think it's just the update. I can't remember exactly, but basically what happens is it processes a certain number of particles up to a maximum. So the maximum is actually, according to this, the maximum number of particles divided by 4. And what it does is it works out where that is on the screen. And if that position on the screen already contains a particle character, then it just adds the particle to that particle character. If it doesn't contain a particle character and it contains a space, then it adds a new particle character to the screen and draws the particle in it. If it doesn't contain a space, then it just doesn't draw the particle, it ignores it. If the number of particle characters on the screen reaches a maximum, which I think is 8, then it also stops drawing the particles. Whenever it stops drawing the particles for that frame, whatever index it's got to, it stores, and then on the next frame it continues on from there. So each frame can draw up to a quarter of the particles in one go. If more than a quarter of the particles are visible, it will start to alternate between the particles. So you only ever get a maximum hit to the raster time. I hope that kind of explains it. Its particle temp is shared 0-page memory location. Let's have a look. This one here. Nope. No, it's only used by the particle system. That's it. My suspicion is that something in this loop is writing a value that sits outside of the screen, or some of that. So in this update, there is this set of values. Where is it? I think it's screen fetch. Yeah, screen fetch. So what's happening is it's taking the position, and it's so like when a particle moves down a row, it needs to actually update its screen location. And I think something in here is causing issues. I'm not quite sure what, so that's what I need to look at. Because then the final thing is what it does is it stores that in particle LSB and particle MSB. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look in this location here to see if we can see any of these values changing. Why is the CLC commented out? Which one? This one. Because it's already clear at this point. It's either clear because we've branched past it, or it's clear at this point. And in this case, same thing. And in this case, once you carry set normal grav. Okay, well that's kind of wrong. That should have a clear in it. Oh no, because we're adding gravity -1 because we take that. Yeah, okay. No, this is all fine. It's all fine. No, it's clear before add 28. Which one? Which one are we talking about? I don't think these are the issues. I mean, I wish it was, but I don't think it is. I don't know which one you were on about here now. Right, lost my train of thought now. Damn it! Forgot what I was looking at. I had a position to look at, and I forgot what it was. Right, hang on. Give me. Oh, right, yes. Screen fetch. So these values are stored in particle LSB and particle MSB, which means that if these values change, there's a potential for these values. These are what are used to draw the particle, right? So there's a potential for these to actually create some invalid locations on the screen. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and just comment out the rights to these. I'm going to leave the particle updates in place and just turn off these here. So the particles are going to behave really weirdly now because they're not actually going to move around the screen quite properly. But by not writing to these positions here, and I don't think they're written anywhere else in here. Oh no, they're written here as well. All right, so let's turn that one off. That one off. By turning those off, I'm hoping what it does is creates a situation where everything is running. It's set for that value updating, and it could be we could prove that that value is not. You see how now they're all appearing in the same place. The screen location is not changing. Okay, so we've still got an issue there. All right, so that means that it's not the screen location that's the problem. Okay, well that's good, right? Because that's one side that we've ruled out. Okay, so hey, Markman. So okay, what else could it be? It's only when the value changes. So think about what's happening when the maximum value changes. So if the maximum value changes, this is going to change, right? So let's, instead of doing this, let's do it based on the max particles instead of this and see if that makes a difference. I mean, this kind of negates the performance issue a little bit. Also makes those particles really fast. No, okay, still an issue. Okay, good, because this lets us deal with particles properly on a frame by frame basis, meaning that it always takes 4 frames to get a particle update to happen, at least. Okay, so in that case, what else could we change in? So if that number changes, when would it change? Okay, so this number will change when the new screen loads in. Oh, particle update fetch. That's a very good point, actually. That's a really good point, Mad Beagle. Could it just be that this is not being reset to 0 on a kill particles? Let's go and have a look. Because it's being set on here. So let's... Okay, let's put it in the kill particles. And then let's go and check map loader. No, it's not quite what you've been saying, because this is to do with the optimization between screens. So. But I mean, yeah, whatever. I mean, you were more on the right path than anybody else, but yeah, might not be that anyway. It might not be that. This is just something I hadn't thought to clear in the thing. So I don't want more points. There are no more points. I ran out of points. Okay. Only world domination. Yeah, that seems to be working. Well, I'm going to give Mad Beagle 10 points for that as well. I want to see Mad Beagle in this. What's going on? What? There he is. Just getting the pointers for the particles. Not. Yeah, I mean, it's not really I guess in a way it kind of is a pointer. It's an index into the array, I guess. So yeah, I guess it kind of is a pointer. But that seems to be working now, so that's good. Oh, what a relief. Yeah, it seems to be working fine now. Cool. That's what Skunk Monkey said as well. Damn it, really? Um, it's definitely working though. That's great. Okay, awesome. I need to undo all this shit now, though. That's the problem. Okay, so game loop. Where else was it? It was in game loop, title screen as well, and in yeah. Okay, cool. I mean, this is awesome. Um, right. Okay. I'm kind of a bit lost what to do now because I hadn't expected to get this done so quickly. So yeah, I don't know if I can really be asked playing Resident Evil tonight. Um, no, I might do. I might. Yeah, I might play it a little bit. Why not? I might play it for a little bit because I do want to get through that. I want to get onto. I'm kind of the one I'm looking forward to the most is Resident Evil 4 because it's the one I haven't really played very much of, and I know it was decent. So, and it's the first time it starts getting a bit kind of decent. It's an emotional roller coaster tonight. Yeah, I mean that's made me very happy getting that. Now I just want to confirm that that is still working with the music. So I just want to turn the music on in this version. You won't hear it, but I just want to confirm that the music is indeed still running at all times. And it is very much running. Okay, sweet. Okay, that's cool. Right, let's give this a run. Just make sure everything's running fine. Still need to test it with different screens and all enabled. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna work my way through now. Just enabling everything and try it out manually. The thing is, if it does crash, we know where to look now. We know what the problem is, and in fact, this kind of goes back to what I think you were saying, Nicomo, a couple of streams back. Is it just everything resetting properly? And it really was a case of we went through every single one of the classes, looking at if it needed resetting, and I thought I'd put everything in, but it was just that one. It would have been that one thing, that exact thing that Mad Beagle pointed to, the fact that the uh, this particle fetch value was not being reset, and it should have been being reset. So what was happening is if you imagine as I was talking about the index before, the index is updated per frame, so it slowly works through the whole list of sprites and then resets back to the beginning again. But the problem is if it's in the upper area of the sprite, say it's particle number 40 or something like that, and then the screen flicks over to a screen that only has 24 particles max on it. Now we've got a particle system which is starting to do the draw and the update from particle 40, even though they're not valid on that screen. And so what it was doing is it was getting really weird kind of LSB and MSB values, which would have been reset as well at this point. They would have all been reset to zero. So it would have it would have skipped probably the update, but still tried to draw it, and then it would have done all sorts of weird things. But it seems to have solved the issue now anyway. Let's give it a quick try. I'm going to probably just mess around for about half an hour, and then I'll probably do an hour Resident Evil also. But this is kind of looking pretty decent now. So let's just try what I was doing before, which was breaking it and move between screens. while blowing things up. Yeah. Okay. I mean, this is looking good. Oh, I need to get rid of that door there, don't I? Yeah. Need to sort that thing out up there as well. That positional stuff up there. Sorry, collision stuff up there. Let me turn that extra door off. So horizontals, get rid of that one. Yeah, I need to remove that door. Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty good because what that means is that the multiplexer was fine, which is a relief. It means the IRQ is fine, which is also a relief. Um, and really means the only problematic bit was that, in fact, the particles were fine. It's just that the reset for everything between screens was not. So in the extreme case where there was lots of particles on the screen, there was way more chance you would overflow. And in fact, looking at the issue that I have with one of the particle reset things in here, where it was said plus the laser count, that would imply that the laser is always down in the bottom half of the particles anyway, along with the exhaust particles. So that top screen would never have had an issue. It's only when you start making things explode that you start to see particles kind of roll over, and you end up in that zone where you're in the higher end of the particle count, and yet you're trying to tell it to use the lower end on another screen. So that's why that screen in particular was bad. Okay, let's take a look at the next job. So actually, something Mad Beagle posted today actually made me think about this. I'll go have a look at the to dos in a minute. Made me have a think about this screen down here. Oh wait, hang on. It's removed the wrong door. Has it removed the wrong door? What? That doesn't make any sense. That's wrong. This is wrong. The horizontal and vertical are the wrong way around. God damn it. That's. I need to fix that in a minute. I'll do that in a second. I don't know if you're still here, Maybe. I guess you are. You posted a kind of Robotron style thing. Hello. You posted a Robotron style thing today, and I was looking at it, and it gave me some ideas for how to handle these screens down here. So actually, you won't see it because it's not sale, but this screen here, it's basically a Robotron style game in here. So you come in here, the door shuts behind you, and then objects start spawning and moving around the screen. And originally I was just going to use the multiplexer for it, which is perfectly valid to do within a certain extent. However, it is going to get to the point on certain. So there's about, I think there's like 3 or 4 of these, and some of them get really really busy. So what I was thinking is moving the base enemy down to a character, down to soft sprites like you've done, um, which would be pretty easy to do using the system we've already got set up for bullets and things like that. I mean, we could use the same system quite easily. But what it would allow us to do is to just bypass any of those limits with things. So if I'm here and 8 of these enemies spawn in, they can all move towards me, and they can all be on the same line as me across here, and it not be a problem. Then we can just use the kind of standard distance thing to pick it up. So um, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do this screen. I thought it was going to be a little bit tricky, but that's kind of cemented in my mind that actually it's probably all right to do some of the enemies, not all of the enemies like that, because there's some of them that have these laser beams coming off them as well. Those will probably just be sprites, but the laser beams themselves might be characters. But I think it's going to be a mix on these screens, and we can program them individually as we get to them. But other than that, I mean, I'm fairly certain there's not anything really that complex left to do, other than just to spend the time going through every single screen and setting things up. I mean, there's a screen with two lasers on. That's going to be a bit tricky, um, especially as they're horizontal lasers as well. So that's going to be fun to do. Try to think if there's anything else that I think might be difficult. There's a screen with a big rotating kind of wheel on it, but I think that's just going to be four lasers. That's right. Yeah, but I think what's going to happen on that is we're going to reduce it down to two. Um, the screens are going to be a bit smaller anyway, so there is going to be some kind of creative license taken, I think, with those screens. Oh, we do need to do the flocking behavior for these. So at the moment they're just kind of swarming around like that. But there needs to be another mode where they actually start moving towards the player, and at that point they need to use a flocking behavior to kind of move towards the player, or something approximating a flocking behavior. We also need to be able to shoot these as well. So when you shoot them, the individual pieces should explode and reduce. So at the moment, there's always three in these. They should go down to two and then one, and then disappear completely. And there's these as well. But again, nothing in here is. I think this has got a laser here as well. Nothing in here is particularly complex now. It's really just a matter of screen by screen work. Now that bug has gone, it's going to be pretty good. Right, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and take a quick toilet break. I'm going to be 2 minutes. I'll just wait for this race to finish. Then when I come back, we'll do a quick search through the code for any more to dos that I need to fix right now, based on the stuff I've done tonight. I don't think there's anything left now, but if there is, we'll fix it, and then we'll just kind of work out where we can kind of do the next piece of work, I guess. And then around about midnight, I'll switch over to Resident Evil for an hour. So I'll be back in a few minutes, guys. Be right back. And I'm back. I gotta say, I don't think. Oh man, that looks like Swiv. I would have said Swiv for that. Yeah, everyone else says yeah. It does look like it, doesn't it? I don't think anybody's going to get this series. I think you're going to need the theme for this. I'm confident this is one of my better ideas. I'll wait to be proven wrong by SP. I'm sure it will happen. Okay. Let's just check the code for to-dos. I know there was a couple of to-dos that were already in there. I'm not going to mess around changing those now. Okay, no, these are all fine. These are all things I do want to investigate. This is actually I'm going to have a quick look at this because I'm not convinced that this is what should be happening here. So what I want to do is just take a look at the laser particles and see how they're actually displayed, because I don't want to have to wall off a set amount of particles just for the laser if they're not going to get used on every screen, which they're not going to get used on every screen. So where's the lasers? Line. There's the particles in here. Oh yeah, it does seem to be. It does seem to always use those lower particles for some reason. See, I don't like that. I really don't like that. So let's see if we can fix this to actually use the particles properly, because this is not the best way to do this at all. So what I'm going to do, the next laser particle index, instead of using this, what instead I'm going to do is I'm going to use the normal method, which is to call on where's the destroyable. That was the easiest way to find it, wasn't it? The particle list, here it is. is to call this function, which returns a particle index in Y. So I do need to transfer it like this. Unfortunately, that's a bit frustrating, but that's fine. So this is just a test for now, just to make sure that this is working. Now, is this the same as well? Do I need to change anything here? Let's have a look. So I get a next particle. Store my particles, next particle. Let me just check that that routine is working correctly. Particles, get next particle. Load Y with next particle, compare it to this. Okay, so that would need changing to that. And that would be cancelled out. And then I would basically do this at the end of every here, basically. So instead of that, it would be this and not any of that. Right, let's give that a quick try. So what I'm trying to do here is roll the laser particles into the normal thing. Did you miss the first image on this? I think you probably did, because it wasn't the dude in the chair. This is a different thing. Let me just see if I can remember which one it was of the original. It was Ellen DeGeneres. Was the original one from series 42? Yeah. I don't think you're going to get this one. I think I honestly believe it's going to take you to hear the theme to know. Okay, this looks fine. This is all working properly. Actually, this has a nice. This has actually changed the dynamic of the laser slightly. If you look at the particles now on the laser, there's more of them because they're not resetting anymore. They're hanging around for much longer, and this actually makes the laser look a lot better. So that's actually kind of nice. I like that. But it doesn't change the dynamic either. So, degenerate. I'm surprised you managed to keep up with them all. To be honest, SP. I mean, you considering that every 3 minutes there's a chance for a new one to appear. I think you do really well to keep up with them, and miss very few. You have 802. Okay, so you've not got them all, but you've got a good amount of them though. That's not many missing at all, is it? That's what's the count at the moment? 810. So you're missing like 8. That's insane. Okay, cool. Right, so that actually works for the laser particles. As I say, I think that works better. So let's get rid of that now. It means we also don't need that. It means we don't need that there as well. So that actually should. I don't think that's used anywhere. Well, what's that there? Oh, I was probably testing something. Yeah, it's not needed. Yeah, it was just a test for outputs. Oh, Quadrisil series. I like the fact there's so many new series. It's good. Good. I was worried the other day there was like 10 backgrounds left, and now we've got like almost 200, 180 left to go. So Anyway, let's crack on. So, not going to probably not do any more code, but I'm going to plan what we're going to do next. Unless there's small pieces of code I can do. Actually, these I need to fix these. I have asked Andy to adjust these, but I've not really heard much from him over the past couple of weeks. So I might have to catch up with him and see if I can get some of these, because these used to work, but with the new graphics, they were drawn in an odd way, which means they no longer kind of work correctly. So I might have to do that. Yeah, the other Andy, yeah, exactly. So I may have to chase that up myself to get that done. And also this thing up here. I tried to think of a way to make this work with the extra character here, but having a table of allowed characters you're allowed to move through, even though they've got pixels in, just doesn't make any sense. From a particles point of view, they would become a nightmare, because you then have to check an extra thing on every kind of collision update, whether it be particles, bullets, decals, whatever it might be. You would have to check an extra thing. So for me, it just makes sense to remove a line of pixels out of here, maybe this bottom line of pixels here, um, just below the gap, and then just move the shine down a row as well. It would make almost no visual difference to it whatsoever, and it's literally just this one line of pixels that needs moving up. So you just by slicing out one line in here, it would just fix the entire thing. So I think that just needs doing. There's not really a better way to do this, and it's not worth compromising the performance. It would be such a huge compromising performance for such a minor graphical thing. I don't think it makes sense to do it any other way. Okay, what else? So we've got the masks. The masks are all working now, because that's something we set up down on this screen around here. Oh, these. I think this might be the next thing we do. These things. These turrets. I've been meaning to look at them for a while. Yeah, see, look, there's three. I call them three mines because they take up 3x3 spaces, but they're not actually. But these need sorting out, because at the moment they're just a nightmare to kind of work with. In fact, I think they're taking 4x4 up at the moment. They need shifting to 3x3 and centering on this. This being like a middle character rather than the middle of the grid, if you know what I mean, like on grid lines. So that definitely needs to be done, because this is also causing collision problems. Like, I can't get past that. I can't get past it because this is 4x4, which means it's extended down here, even though it's technically only 3x3. So I have to shoot through all these to get past. And again, I can't get through there because this is blocking. So these are the two big things that I think I need to change. So I'll get that done pretty soon. If I have to do it myself, I have to do it myself. It's fine. It's not a huge deal. In fact, let's have a quick look at the map. That could be something I can do. I haven't got I need to install Charpad. Let me write that down. The new Charpad's got bitmap mode in it as well, which is good. Oh, I don't know if old school Coder is around. To get dropped back for the beta pass. What, you can get beta access to it? When is that open? Send me details on how to do that, Sean. That'd be good if you could. Although, to be honest, I'm happy to wait for it to come out. So, oh, all right, yeah, fair enough. Well, how do you get them? I mean, if I can get my own, I'll just get my own, because that might be worth. I wouldn't mind playing that with Scott as well, actually. Send me details on how you did it, and I'll look into it, because I wouldn't mind that myself. What was I going to say? I completely forgot what I was going to say now. No, completely lost. Don't know. I'm enjoying Final Fantasy. I think that's what I was talking about. So I'm not too rushed about that. The main game I'm waiting for, well, actually, it's two I'm waiting for. I mean, Back for Blood is definitely one for it as well. You need to watch a Twitch stream for 1 hour to get it. Oh, a Twitch stream that's all right. Let me just send me a link. I can do that quite easily. So, um, because I'd like to do that and get yeah. Um, Charpad. Yeah, I'll download Charpad. Yeah. So the reason I asked Sean is because I want to get two. I want to get one for me and one for Scott. So if you can afford two, then sure. If not, I'll just do it myself. It's fine. Um, when is it out? Actually, when is that game out? Maybe. Yeah. Anyway, the games I'm waiting for, other than Back for Blood, are Forza Horizon 5. Um, no, when is the actual official retail release? When is it actually released properly? Because it's not till October, isn't it? Oh, open beta 12. Oh, well, I'll just wait then. I'm not in a rush, and that's no good to me anyway because he's not coming down till uh the Wednesday, which I think is the 18th. So yeah, it's no good to me anyway. So don't worry about it. I'll wait for the full game to come out, so it's more of a surprise. I'd rather enjoy it more on launch. So I know it's going to be good. If it's anything like Left 4 Dead, it's going to be good. So yeah, Forza Horizon 5. I'm looking forward to. That's coming out this year. I think November. And obviously, oops, and obviously Battlefield 2042, which I am probably going to sink a hell of a lot of time into. I'd imagine. I have done with every other Battlefield since Battlefield 2, so it's probably likely I'm going to sink a lot of time into that. Yeah, that's another reason I'd rather just wait. If things look janky, I don't mind. I've seen enough of it to know that it's going to be good. I know that it's not quite Left 4 Dead. I know it's slightly different in a few ways, but I'm happy to kind of wait for them to do it properly and then play it when it comes out. I've got so many other things to play anyway. It's not like I'm looking for stuff to play. Um, I say Final Fantasy's really grabbed me at the moment. I'm working my way through the last expansion. No, sorry, not the last one. The second to last expansion at the moment. I'm nearly finished with that, and then I shall be on the current expansion, just in time for the new one to come out fairly soon. So Coding streams cancelled. No, they won't be cancelled, but I will be playing. I'll probably be playing a lot of that on stream. So there may be more Battlefield streams just randomly throughout the week. Basically, if I play it, I'll probably stream it. Um, anyway, right. Let's pause this for now. I don't think there's anything more to do on this tonight. Let's just have a quick look at the to-do list again. So this change for 512 and this to do with the raster. Again, not really concerned about this. This value here, I don't think I need to change it anymore anyway. But I'll leave that in just in case, because this also has some extra information in it, and I can't remember what's used in the upper bytes of this in the MSB of the screen data. So I'll leave it for now. But if I run out of room somewhere in tables, this is where I need to come and mess around with it. So I'll leave the to do in there so I can see it. Good night, Dogster. Good night. All right, yeah, let's do some Resident Evil then. Let's switch over. Let me change the stream details for a second. Where the hell is that now? There it is. And let you do one more background guess when it comes down. I think you've figured out this series, haven't you? Pretty much. Which one is this actually? Oh yes, it's. I love how it keeps all the game development stuff. It's not naked hentai girls. Oh, I have to admit, one thing about Final Fantasy is it is definitely a game made for teenage boys. I think because there's just like there's so many races and costumes in it, which are just basically, you know, women in bikinis, like hot women in bikinis. Basically, it's so stupid. No, Final Fantasy 14 on the online one. So there's like, for instance, there's a race that has bunny ears, right? So think of the Playboy bunnies, um, in bunny girls doing Playboy things. It's a female only playable race. That is all just like supermodel women, but with bunnies, with bunny ears and cat ladies as well. Yeah, women that look women with kind of tails, and it's so it's slightly cringy how sexualized they've made it in places. Um, it is a little bit weird, but it's a really really fun game. I'm playing a samurai at the moment. I'm loving it. All right, let's. I'm going to switch over now to Resident Evil. So you're going to lose the overlay and stuff, and the music's going to stop. And the races will still be running, but you won't be able to see them. So by all means, play the races if you want, but you won't know if you've won unless you query the